Uloma was born the moon was low, carrying quietness in her very bones. She never shouted, never argued, believing that peace was the greatest power and silence her most potent weapon. Having witnessed too many marriages ruined by temper and pride, she sought a man whose heart was calm and whose eyes held no fire. Suitors came from far and near, hunters, traders with gold, and drummers whose hands shook the earth. But she turned them all away. When asked why, she said, "A man who shouts cannot hear the voice of love." The elders warned that her silence would lead to loneliness, yet Uloma smiled and replied, "Then let loneliness be my peace." She refused to live with thunder under her roof. Her quest was simple: to find and marry stillness itself. One cold evening, when the harmattan dust danced like ghosts, a stranger walked into the land of Umueze. He was tall, his eyes heavy with sorrow, and his name was Obina. The villagers recognized the signs. He was a banished soul from Humuaka, a land abandoned by the gods. Rumors claimed he had defied the deities or carried a curse of endless rain. Yet, when Uloma saw him, she did not see fear. She saw peace hiding behind unbearable pain. She brought him food and water, and with her soft smile, his deep silence began to soften. The villagers warned her, muttering, "A snake that is quiet still carries venom." But Uloma was certain. "Even broken drums can still hold rhythm," she replied. Against all counsel, she married him. Their wedding was strange. No drums, no songs, no wind. The elders called it peace, but the sky whispered otherwise. At first, their home was quiet, too quiet. No quarrels, but also no laughter. The silence was heavy. Even the birds avoided their hut. But the peace was a thin disguise. One night, Uloma woke to hear Obina muttering strange ancient words, older than man, in his sleep. When she shook him awake, he dismissed it, saying, "Just dreams chasing me." But her spirit was uneasy. When he bathed, the river water stood still. When he walked through the market, the animals ran and babies cried. The fear grew when a woman's hut mysteriously burned to ashes, though the sky was clear. Those who saw the fire swore Obina was nearby, his eyes glowing like firelight. He said nothing, walking away as if the flames did not concern him. Fear spread like dry grass, but Uloma clung to her husband, saying, "The gods cannot dwell in him." Uloma's spirit could no longer rest. When Obina left the hut at midnight, she followed his silent shadow to the river. The stars hid their light, and the air held its breath. At the riverbank, Obina knelt before the water, but his reflection in the surface did not kneel. It spoke. "Obina," the reflection thundered, "you were not sent here to love. You were sent to destroy." Ulama gasped. The reflection turned, and Obina's real eyes, the ones looking back at her, blazed red. "You should not have seen this," he shouted. He confessed he was the son of Amadioha, god of thunder, banished to earth for loving a mortal woman long ago. His quietness was his curse and his punishment. Ulama's love had undone the spell and awakened the storm he was meant to bury. The sky tore open above the river, and Amadioha's voice rolled like 10,000 drums. "Obina, you have broken the vow. The mortal must forget or perish." Uloma fell to her knees, crying out to the Father of all, "If love is a sin, then let me share his punishment." Lightning danced across the water as Amadioha descended, glowing with storm fire. The god declared that mortals cannot hold thunder in their arms. Weeping, Obina accepted his fate. He kissed Uloma and the heavens screamed in response. The river immediately rose and swallowed him whole. Uloma screamed his name, but only the rain, which began to fall softly, answered her call. The storm had returned for the banished god. That night, the sky itself wept with thunder and rain for a woman who had lost her husband to the gods. Uloma sat by the riverbank until dawn, whispering Obina's name, but only silence returned. Days turned into moons, and the villagers whispered that she had married madness, but Uloma smiled weakly. Love cannot drown inside a river. Then, one evening, the wind carried strange news. Uloma's belly had begun to swell. The midwife gasped, "The gods have left something behind." Months later, when thunder rolled without a cloud in the sky, her child was born, a boy, marked with a lightning symbol on his palm. She named him Echezona, never forget. A soft baby cry mixed with the warm flute melody of the wind, signaling the birth of the child of thunder. From his first laugh, the wind trembled. When little Echezona cried, the skies wept with him. The villagers whispered, "He is the child of thunder." But Uloma affirmed, "He is the child of love that defied the gods." The priest came with fear, warning her that the heavens would not forget. But Uloma stood firm. "Let the heavens watch. I will not hide my child's light." Echezona grew tall and wise. When the moon was full, his eyes would shimmer like lightning behind clouds. Uloma would hold him close. That night, Umueze could not sleep. Dreams of thunder filled every hut. The priests shouted, "The son of thunder must return!" And the frightened villagers gathered outside Uloma's hut. "Give them the boy before the sky burns our land," they demanded. But Uloma stood tall before the fearful crowd. "No, they took his father. They will not take him too." The clouds split apart, and Amadioha's voice roared, "Echezona, son of thunder, come home!" The boy walked forward, calm and smiling. His palm burned bright with the mark of lightning. From that day, Uloma and Echezona were never seen again. But when thunder rumbles without clouds, the elders say, "That is Obina calling from the heavens." And when rain falls gently from a clear sky, they whisper, "That is Uloma calming her husband's storm." The river by Umueze still glows under the moonlight, and they say lovers who pray there have their vows carried directly to the gods. The people learn that peace without truth is only the pause before thunder, and that silence itself can carry the roar of destiny. Love, they discovered, is never truly quiet. It is a force so absolute that when it awoke the sleeping storm, even the gods